This conference will now be recorded.
So thank you all for joining today. Today, I actually wanted this to be more of a working session. I do have the agenda topics up on the screen and wanted to talk through some of these. If there are any agenda topics that people want to bring up, please feel free to either add them to this document or raise your hand and we can discuss whatever you would like to. Just from a general topics perspective, the OCP Prague Regional Summit conference registration is up and running. That is going to be on the 19th to the 20th of April in Prague, Czechoslovakia. We do have a sustainability panel discussion with, we're hoping the CNDCP will be able to join. We've reached out to them. We definitely have confirmation from iMasons, and we're waiting for a couple of others to confirm, but that would be a keynote address or panel discussion during the keynote portion of the program. So I think that's really big for us, since that's going to give this work stream a lot of visibility within OCP, which is a big plus for us. We did have a lot of submittals at the conference, so we weren't able to accept all of the presentations that were submitted. But I did bring this up previously, but I think we should have a tech talk session later on this year. We could potentially plan on having it either in the summer or before, after the conference, to give the people that submitted presentations and don't have an opportunity to present, This would be virtual, so wanted to know your thoughts on that. So open it up to the floor.
I agree, actually, Priya. I think that the tech talk would be very helpful.
Great. So yeah, feel free to reach out to folks. We can start collecting, ideas, names, topics, and then we can decide when to have that based on number of people and interests, and who we'd be inviting to that.
I also think it's a great idea, and I'll rally my peers to contribute.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Julius. And then based on that, we can decide a date and time, and I'll work with Michael Schill and the OCP organizing crew to help us set that up. So what I did want to do today was go through our list of topics that we had, or workstream ideas. What I think we should do, and this is open to input from you all, is I think we should identify 2 or 3 specific work streams to focus on for this year, with the idea of having 2 or 3 presentations coming out of these work streams at the OCP conference in October, or the OCP summit, the global summit in October, as work outputs from this group. So I set up a spreadsheet, and we do have some topics that have been populated on the spreadsheet. So let me share my screen with these topics so that we can run through these topics. So the first one is a heat reuse marketplace. And Cosimo, I know this is your idea. Did you want to talk about it a little bit and tell us what you're thinking?
Yeah. So the topic here is that the challenge when it comes to heat reuse is to combine supply and demand. So supply, of course, are data centers that have excess heat, particularly in the form of liquid cooling. If you have some sort of liquid cooling or some racks of liquid cooling, and then you have higher temperatures. So the challenge is to combine that supply of excess heat with the demand of someone who can actually use that excess heat. Because And so the idea was to create a marketplace, we like to call it Tinder for heat reuse. So where we match or don't match, and to create a place where potential companies check for that compatibility. Now, the news that as of last week, actually, Priya, is that apparently the German government is putting this together for Europe, at least. So there's a group that is financed by the German government that is working on something like this, and they will present on during our calls, I think in April. So we want to keep an eye with them and maybe collaborate with them, and they are paid to do to do this, like us. So it's something
So,
that we can look at.
so Cosimo, you said they would present during our calls. Do you mean the heat reuse call or?
Heat reuse calls, yes,
Okay.
yes, and I will, if I can put the calendar, the link to the calendar here in the chat box, and I can check exactly when we have a long list of presentations, so I don't remember exactly. Let me check.
I'll copy this into the meeting notes. Thank you for that.
Mm. It's not been put here yet, but yeah, we will update this calendar as soon as we have the dates confirmed. Oh, I think it's here. No, it's here. It's and on April 4th. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, for some reason, I can't copy that over, but I will eventually. If you can update the meeting notes with that link, Cosimo, that would be
Yes,
great.
I will.
Okay, so if that's the case, are you thinking about maybe potentially partnering with them on that?
That would be the idea. That would be, I mean, it would be kind of silly to do twice the same thing. Eh, and I think that the OCP it's open to this kind of collaboration. So, but we just got wind of them. We haven't really talked to them yet, so we don't know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what their boundaries are. We don't know if they can collaborate. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But the idea is particularly because they are in Europe. So we can do this for the US, and they can do that for Europe, and we can collaborate and use the same format.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, if that's the case, and you probably would run it under the heat reuse working group, potentially.
Well, I mean, this is a topic that covers multiple interests, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can see actually even a potential internal collaboration in the OCP within this group and the heat reuse
Mm-hmm.
group.
Yeah.
We can work together on this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, we are not territorial.
Exclusive.
It's not.
That's
Yeah.
right. So, okay, yeah. Let's see what happens with that presentation and what they're doing. And then we can decide how to potentially collaborate on this one.
Great. Yeah.
Alignment with external partners such as iMason, CNDCP, Green Grid, etc. I think that shouldn't actually be a work stream, but should be something that's ongoing. We did have CNDCP and iMasons attend our working group meeting last week, and need to figure out how to collaborate with them we'll be having discussions with them as we plan for the panel at the OCP Prague conference later on. So as that progresses, I think we'll figure out better on how to potentially build these relationships with them. Any questions related to that? Any ideas on whether there should be a working group or not, or a work stream? Any thoughts on that?
So you mean a separate work stream?
Yeah, something we could potentially do is maybe build like a collaboration model on how OCP will interface with some of these external groups. So maybe like a white paper outlining a framework for collaboration. That could be something that could be an output of this group. Any thoughts?
I think that would be good because as for previous comment, these kind of collaborations are probably going to be more common, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think to follow up on that, it might be good to bin some of the topics into bigger umbrella terms. For example, heat reuse and power and water are quite closely related.
Mm-hmm.
And data center construction and facility design and green concrete are also similarly quite related to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that could even guide like the actual outputs, such as a white paper or best practices document. That's what comes to mind when I look at the list, which is very nice, but could maybe use like one layer of organization here.
Yeah, we try to put themes on the left. So
Yes.
yeah, that's a good point. So you said white paper on specific themes, right? And you what were the high level themes, Julius, that you mentioned?
I think one is things related to heat. So energy and water in my mind are related.
Heat, energy, and then water, and then write a position paper on that.
That's right. And then at the same time, it also covers scope 1 and 2 for carbon emissions.
Mm-hmm.
And then for scope 3, we could put together like data center construction and embodied carbon modeling and green concrete or green building materials at large.
Hey, actually, to build on what Julius was saying, that I think is very good. Do we have any plans to put together like an OCP sustainability score for data centers?
Sorry, Cosimo, what did you say again? Sustainability what?
Score. Like,
okay.
Like if you check these boxes, if you use green concrete, if you reuse your heat, if you of course use your energy from sustainable resources. So if you check, you have, okay, your data center is 92 sustainability score, OCP 92, or your data center is 57 sustainability score for OCP.
It's an idea.
That's going to be interesting. And I think that falls under line item 4. We look at metrics where we
exactly.
align with specific metrics, and then based on how you're performing against those metrics, you would get the score. So that could be a separate white paper that we develop for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because of course I agree with you, Priya. They go hand in hand with the metrics. So you need the metrics to get a score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just throw in my 2 cents or my support. I think it's a great idea. I like the idea of having kind of like a score sheet and looking at the wide variety of different sustainability metrics out there and coming up with some sort of certification or something along those lines that looks at it holistically from the carbon footprint, through the materials, the operations, the water usage, all that stuff.
That's right. And there's several organizations like, the CNDCP put out something related to metrics. I believe the Green Grid did as well. And then Schneider Electric wrote a white paper on metrics. So we would have to look at all of those resources and then figure out how to craft this document that we're referring to. That's a good one.
And you may even want to go beyond just the environmental metrics and look at the social metrics as well, as much as they could be integrated.
Actually, that's a good point. We always look at environmental, but we forget.
Yeah, I mean, we can call it
the S.
we can call it ESG score.
That's right. So, and then that would cover item 6.2 because a science-based targets initiative is essentially supporting metric development, right? Anybody had any thoughts related to that? So line item 7, can anybody provide insight into that line item? Instead of using the term ESG in the work streams, use impact instead.
Hi, hi Priya, it's Mark Dancy. Sorry for
Hey, Mark.
joining late. Yeah, it's something that Tesla have made quite prominent in their recent impact study.
Mm-hmm.
That because ESG is is getting a bit of a bad rep, to be honest, because this association with a certain financial institution that I won't name. So rather than using that ESG term, which is not being, as I say, it's getting some bad reputation on how it's being used. But instead, we're looking at what is the impact of co-location data centers or data centers in general on the environment. So whatever we are doing, we should be reducing the impact to the minimum. So it's a more sort of general term. So that's where I've come up with that observation of how other organizations and companies are trying to put forward their view or their thoughts on on sustainability. So yeah, just thought it'd be worth considering. But, yeah, don't know what anybody else thinks about ESG as a term in general, whether they're for using it or against it or really neutral.
Julius, I'm just sorting through based on the new categories we defined, so that we can then funnel these items through those categories and then figure out what's still outstanding. And so that was metrics.
ESG and impact, I still believe that that would fall under metrics, Mark, because that's how you would measure impact, right, is against the metrics. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Construction. Best practice guidelines for embodied carbon reduction against construction. That's metrics. So this one talked about LCA, and that most likely would just, it was a really good paper, and if you haven't looked through that, take a look at that. It provided a really comprehensive assessment of the LCA process and how to go about developing an LCA, and provided some links to some resources. So take a look at that paper. It was developed under the OCP project. I don't know which work stream developed that, but it's a really great paper. Mark, I think did you put that in there?
Yeah, I think it was the sustainability project. That was one of the initial contributions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I think we have roughly four, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, and then we have a general, which we said shouldn't really, maybe that's just a framework of how to work with external organizations. So it looks like we've got like 4 different work streams that we could potentially divide up into.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah. So the first one is water, heat, energy, and that would cover heat reuse, balancing water power. So what I think, and I'm open to ideas here, is I think for each one of these work streams we should initiate like a white paper development, position paper guideline, and then that addresses the topics in those areas. So for water, heat, and heat reuse and energy, maybe do a position paper on that. DC for construction, maybe a white paper on embodied carbon reduction within data centers. And then on the metric sustainability score, gathering data of what's been done out there, and then consolidating that data, and then figuring out how to go about developing this OCP sustainability metric score that we want to do for the facility side. And then the last one would be a collaboration framework with external organizations. So I'm going to ask for volunteers now on who would like to lead some of these work streams and the development of the papers within these work streams. So the first one would be the water, heat, energy work stream. Who would like to lead the position paper on that one? Nobody? Cosimo, would you like to do that? Cosimo?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've been talking. I've I've been talking for 5 minutes, and I was muted.
Sorry about that.
No. It was my fault. I was muted at the microphone. No, I was saying I can help for sure. Lead it. I'm not sure if I have the bandwidth to
Hmm.
lead it. If really nobody else is available, we can work together, Priya.
Yeah.
But
Do you have suggestions of anybody who might be interested in
so
in
so that
leading that effort?
that was I was thinking about. Maybe we can ask these questions during one of our calls where there's maybe a little more people and see if someone is available.
Yeah, that would be great if we could get someone who's available to lead the development of this white paper.
Yeah, yeah, I can. Yeah, we can totally do that. And if it's okay with you, maybe I would invite you during one of our calls so you can present your group and what you are doing and see if you find volunteers.
Okay, sounds great.
And I suggest that you join us during one of the presentations because normally we have more people.
Sure. Okay, for the construction subtopic, do we have someone who would be able to lead the developments? Julius.
Yes,
That,
I'm here. I'm
is that
interested, but
something
I
you
think
would like to do, or do you know of someone
um,
who?
I'm interested in doing it, but I need to get permission from Meta because I'm a research scientist, so I've been focusing on the technology development side. I think we need like a program manager person to be championing this. So I think if we can surface kind of like a call for participation, that would help trigger me getting the right people on my side.
Okay.
And then green concrete can just be like a subsection of that effort.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So we can work on what that framework looks like,
That's right.
and then have different contributors to the various sections.
That's right.
Okay. The next one is the metrics. Aaron, is that something that you would like to do?
I mean, yeah, I'm interested. I'm kind of wavering between the metrics and the water heat energy, but
Okay.
I can go where I can go for either. To me, they both sound enticing, but I do have to choose one. I only have so much time in the day.
It would be great if you could do both, but yeah, I
I don't
understand.
think I can.
Let me lure with us so we have a leader of the group already.
Well, Aaron, which one would you prefer?
You know what? I should probably do the water heat energy,
Yes.
just because I've also been sitting in on the waste heat meetings a little bit here and there, and I know that there's been some work done there, and I can kind of look at how their approach and the approach here, and maybe try to integrate some of those ideas into a write-up here.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
Sure.
Do you have a recommendation for someone for the sustainability metrics? I think Robert Bunja might be great for that one too. If I can reach out to him.
He would be really great because of the job that he has already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has been very busy lately, but yeah, if we could get him, that he would be probably one of the best person that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking too.
yeah, I would second that, Cosimo, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely interested in getting involved with that work stream. And
Mark, I'll put your names down. I'll put your name down for that too.
yeah, and Steve Norman as well said he'd be interested in assisting, but you know, as part of the team, but not leading it. So
Steve's on.
Yeah, I'm here. I've just been quiet, sorry. But it's right in line with what I have to do for the federal government. And what I'm focusing on is power, people, processes, and material. So that sort of covers a lot of different areas. And I'm tasked. I work for the General Services Administration, and we let the big contracts for the federal government. So I have to come up with sustainable acquisition, like terminology and things like that. And part of that is metrics. And we're focusing on those 4 areas that I mentioned, and we're trying to make that equity is the big term, but we're running into big companies have more resources to do a lot of the sustainability actions where small companies are going to be left out. So we can't leave anybody out. So that's the big conundrum that I'm under. So, but I would be more than willing to help out with the metrics, because I'm basically tasked with coming up with that for the federal government.
That's excellent. So yeah, we've already got that work stream filled out with the right people then. Any volunteers for the other work streams? Like, we have Aaron as leading the work stream for water, heat, and energy, and then Cosimo, you're going to be a contributor to that, right?
Yes.
Anybody else wants to participate with that team?
We are fun, guys. Join us.
I'll put my name down for that one as well. So if you could keep
Great.
me in the loop on, invite me to meetings and stuff, and I can help participate. Same with the metrics one as well. I'd like to participate in that one as well, if that's okay with the team.
All right, great, thank you.
Same with construction. Julius,
You're gonna be busy.
I know. Julius, do you want to participate in the construction?
Yeah, I need to check on my side first, because I feel like we need somebody who's more like day-to-day working on it, and I am not.
Okay.
Actually a scientist. So, but like I mentioned, if we can surface like, hey, OCP is doing this, so Meta needs to participate, that will help me a lot in recruiting the right people from my side.
Yeah. I could. Yeah, if you come up with anybody on that one, let me know. And then the last one is a collaboration framework with external organizations. Rob, did you want to lead that one? I'm not sure what your bandwidth is.
Yeah, I am concerned my bandwidth be severely limited. I mean, possibly not, but I don't know that I can commit until I'm fully up to speed here at the foundation.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any suggestions on who might be a good lead for that work stream?
You could, here's what I kind of offer. If you tag me for recruiting potentially someone to lead that work stream, I could take that on.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we can go from there. And I can reach out to Michael and others from the foundation.
Okay. So for the construction part, if we don't find anybody, I could potentially lead that work stream, but I would need to have participants or someone supporting
development of that white paper.
And it could be
Is any-
something we even reach out. I mean, I think a big advantage here is this is an area that will bring in multiple disciplines, right? So we can reach out to other groups and other companies, say, hey, do you have somebody, in your company interested in this specifically? We're looking for help, but let's try and socialize it internally first and see where that gets us.
Yeah. So what I'll do is at the next data center facility meeting, which is the bigger group meeting, I'll highlight these work streams and then socialize it and ask for volunteers to help lead these participants as well as leaders for some of these work streams as well.
That would be great. And I'm happy to support that call. If you, on the next DCF call, if you put out there, I'm happy to back you up and encourage people.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great. So I think this is enough for this year. We have a few months to, well, approximately 6 months or a little more than 6 months to get to before the global summit. So I think we have our work cut out for us. So I think focusing on these 4 work streams might be good. So regarding reaching out to Robert Bunger, did we have a volunteer for that, or
I can do that. I yeah.
Cosimo?
I know him pretty
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll put you in copy.
Thank you. And if you have thoughts on others that we could reach out to for leading some of these work streams, that would be great.
He might know someone else. I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah. There may be others that he knows that would be interested. So that was all that I had for today. Something else that I wanted to talk about was, do we need to invite any other external presenters, or do you have ideas for other external presenters at the next meeting that we can be reaching out to present on a specific topic? There was someone that I talked to at Building Transparency, and I was thinking of maybe having them come in and talk about the database that they've created for EPD tracking and embodied carbon tracking. Is that something of interest to this team? Yep, I see some shakes.
Yes, I think that's an interesting topic.
Okay, I'll reach out to them and see if they're interested in presenting to us. If there's other interesting topics that you all think about, then let me know and we can have that scheduled. Cosima, I'm probably going to borrow your spreadsheet that you have for scheduling topics, etc. I like that idea.
Oh, it's
So I'll set
absolutely.
something up like that. Yeah. Are there any other topics to discuss today? Well, if not, I'm going to stop the recording. And thank you all. Oh, thanks,
Thank you.
Igor. I will add you to the metrics panel. Thank you all. End the call.